importantly, the Administrator leads EPA's efforts to protect health and environment for all Americans. She and her large staff of professionals are working across the nation to usher in a green economy, address health threats from pollution in our air, water, and land, and renew the public trust in EPA's work. It is a particular pleasure for me to introduce Administrator Jackson to this conference today, because it was just about a year ago this month when she and I and another colleague from EPA, Michelle DePass, were sitting together having a somewhat lively conversation. And it was in the course of that conversation that the concept for today's meeting took life and began to move forward. So with that, let me introduce the Administrator and say thank you.
Well, thank you, Carrie Ann. It's very nice to see you as well. And oftentimes people in government have lots of conversations about a lot of things, but it takes leadership and vision to actually bring them to fruition. So thank you for your leadership and your vision. Thanks to Stanford University for hosting us in this amazing space. I was going to also recognize my colleagues, our Assistant Administrator for International and Tribal Affairs, Michelle DePass, our Chief Financial Officer at EPA, Bob Bennett, who is here because she's also voluntarily spearheaded our desire to work more with sustainable businesses and to find ways for a regulatory agency, which is what EPA is, to help businesses who are trying to go beyond regulation and look at triple bottom line and other activities. And I also have to acknowledge Jared Blumenfeld, who runs EPA's office not too far away in San Francisco and does an amazing job while he does. So thank you for joining me here today. As you can see, I was a little iffy because of this voice, but it is a pleasure to be here at this conference, and it's an opportunity I can assure you I would not have missed unless I literally couldn't physically make it up the stairs. That's because the people in this room and the people we work with who are involved in this effort, who come from so many different countries, from so many different professions and perspectives, are so important to what happens next. We are all united by our desire to improve the world we live in, and not only the world that we live in, but the world that our children and our grandchildren will live in as well. That's the simple idea that brings us together. The challenge ahead of us, though, is unlike anything we've faced before, whether it's as individual nations or as a collective, as one planet. For the first time in human history, we are beginning to see that everyday activities, the things we buy, the way we keep the lights on, the ways we travel, have an impact on the health of our entire planet. For the first time in human